Uh, Another question for you, David. Objections. Another thing that endless amounts of content come out of this topic. But what's your methodology when you coach reps on how to deal with objections?
So I was having lunch with a friend of mine who's a recruiter. Um, I'll never forget because this came up, and he gave me something that I always stick to. And he calls this concept the border. I'm sure I've told you about the border before, but maybe I haven't. I'll tell you about it now. So the idea behind the border is that there's a very significant change in the tone of the overall conversation that you're having between a salesperson and a prospect when a proposal is put on the table. As soon as a price and an offer is on the table, the tone of the conversation changes. And I'm not making a judgment. It's not that it's good. It's not that it's bad. It's just all of a sudden kind of, okay, now we're negotiating the proposal. And it's in this kind of after the border period that objections come up. But if you think about objections, what they really are is questions. Because if they came up before you crossed the border, then they are just questions. How much does it cost, or does it do this, or what about that, or can we fix this? Those same questions have a very, very different feeling on those different sides of the border. So yes, you need to be skilled at handling objections when they come. But if I was to give one piece of advice to people about objections, is try to get as much of them answered during discovery as you can, such that when you finish discovery in the way that we discussed earlier, and it kind of seamlessly goes into like, well, gee, that seems like a great idea. What do you say we move forward with that? If you engineer it right, and it's never perfect, but if you engineer it right, you can kind of seamlessly go from the right kind of discovery with all of those trial solutions that we discussed and with all of those objections that haven't become objections yet, and kind of just slide right into the close without even having objections. It's theoretical because you're still going to go back and write up a proposal, and you're going to give it to them, and they're going to ask about it, and there's going to be some questions. But you can minimize the number of objections that you have by getting them addressed as questions on the friendly side of the border. I think that's the best advice about objections I ever received, and very effective methodology that I've taught ever since.